Together! This is Equity One, Broadway's happy hour.
Pour yourself a drink and join us as we chat about life, theater, and everything in between.
I'm Elliot Maddox.
And I'm Caleb Dickey. Join us for your Equity One.
Hi, Caleb.
Hi, Elliot.
Cheers. Clink. Welcome to this week's episode of Broadway Podcast Network Happy Hour. I am Elliot.
I'm Caleb.
And we are the hosts of Equity One, Broadway's Happy Hour. Every week on Broadway Podcast Network Happy Hour, we sit down with some of your favorite Broadway Podcast Network hosts and have a drink with them. And we just wanted to say something before we get started. We know that there's a lot happening in the world right now, and we don't want to make it seem like we are ignoring it or not taking it seriously by continuing to have this lighthearted content happen every week. So we just wanted to say right now that the Broadway Podcast Network stands for justice for people of color. We stand with the Black community. And whether you listen to podcasts to be informed or be entertained, we hope that you will use your voice and not stay silent and speak up. So we're encouraging our listeners right now to donate to the Minnesota Freedom Fund. The link is right there. This helps people that have been protested. This helps them pay for bail if they can't afford it. And we really encourage you to do research at different organizations and donate, make your voice heard. Yes. And now we're here to entertain you, help everyone have a little lightness today. All right.
Yes.
So today we are very excited to finally have on the podcast our friend from Broadway, Brittany Bigelow.
Yeah.
Hi.
Yes.
It's so weird adding myself to the stream.
I know. Well,
it's my cue.
Brittany wears so many hats, but one of her many hats is she often helps produce our happy hours here. She works with the Broadway Podcast Network as well as hosting her own podcast. And, she's just doing it all today, producing, guesting, all of it.
And drinking. It's full circle.
Well, cheers, everyone.
I'm so happy to do this with you guys. Thanks for having me.
Oh my God, finally. We have tried to do this so many times, and I'll say it. Every time I have had to cancel.
It happens.
It happens, but it is what are you drinking today, Brittany?
I'm on a kick with this one cocktail right now. It's a tequila Negroni.
I love a Negroni.
It's been a good change. We're typically tequila or bourbon drinkers in this household, but it's been nice to try the cocktail as opposed to some tequila or just some bourbon. So I've been literally obsessed with it. So
I love a tequila I love mix switching up cocktails, doing them with liquor that they're not necessarily normally done with. I love tequila old fashions.
Oh, yum, totally.
Who was teaching us a tequila Moscow Mule? Someone was trying to tell us about that. Do you remember who, Elliot?
I don't remember who, but it's delicious. It's a Mexican mule.
Someone was, I think that was at Broadway Con, maybe. Someone told us about that.
Maybe so.
Yeah.
And I remember Mary Dina from Page to Stage. I think she had a mule.
She loves mules.
Correctly, but I don't know if I assume it was a normal mule.
She does love mules. We both had mules inadvertently, not even planning it on our episode with Page to Stage.
It was great.
Caleb, what are you drinking?
I'm also on a kick of Amaretto Sour.
Oh my God.
So I haven't had these since. No, this is poor man's mix. I'm not that smart. But I did add the cherries. But I haven't had these since college.
I have a cherry in mine too.
They're very sweet. They're very sour.
They're so sweet.
It's mostly sugar.
This Amaretto Sours remind me. Now, I didn't drink until, like most of us, I didn't drink until I was 21.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I actually didn't ever have a sip of alcohol until I was 21. And so
a little late to the game too. But
Caleb was at the bar that night with me and was give him this, make it really strong, talking to the bartenders without me. But one of my drinks as I was like coming into drinking was an Amaretto Sours, and Amaretto Sours remind me of the summer that Caleb and I spent in Wichita together.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
At the opening night parties, which happened like every week, I would have Amaretto Sours.
Yes,
and that takes me back right there.
That's like so funny.
Yeah, in the apartments, I think Jordan was making them, and he loved Amaretto Sours too. So he was like, "That's how I got one."
Jordan DeLeon.
Yes.
I do think summer stock is like where I learned my drinking preferences and where I learned my tolerance and capacity, as opposed to like a lot of people in college are like experimenting and whatever. I feel like summer stock is kind of that. So when I think of cocktails, I definitely am thinking of like all the different places that we tried them. It's so
many.
There was this place in Wichita. Shout out to Mort's and it was a martini bar.
Nice.
They had pages and pages of martinis, and they would also serve popcorn with it.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was like a great pairing. And some of the also had jalapeno popcorn. Hi, Mary.
Hi, Mary. I hope you're having a mule with us. I know I was about to shout out Mort's because that was so funny. Like Mort's Mondays or something, they had like half price or like 2 for 1, and we would just try we would have a lot of martinis. We would have like 6
because they were so cheap. They were so cheap,
and so many different flavors. So you were like, I have to try all the different flavors. I remember that summer when we were not going out and we were making drinks at the apartments.
Mm-hmm.
I would have, this is disgusting, but I would make the grossest drink ever. I was like, oh my God, it's like Powerade. It's like Gatorade. Like, it's so good. It was Bacardi Black Raz, UV Blue Vodka, and water.
I've never even heard of
what is
vodka?
So it's vodka that's blue. It's like blue flavored.
I stay away from blue liquids. I don't know what it is, the Powerades, the anything that are blue. So let alone a blue cocktail. Woof.
Yeah, it was a choice, but I stayed hydrated.
I'm sure you did.
Oh, the water, yeah.
Very important.
The water, yeah. I was like rum, vodka, and water. Wow. Times have changed. Now I'm like, oh, I can't even look at vodka if I'm drinking another alcohol, you know.
I know.
No mixing.
Brittany, how have you been doing through all this quarantine craziness?
Oh man. We have been pretty good in our home. I have to say, when it all like first really became apparent that it wasn't something to take lightly, that it was going to just get worse and worse, and that we all needed to kind of hide out until we knew if what the government was going to say or things like that. I think that was like an anxious moment of like just buying a ton of food and toilet paper and all these things because it just felt like survival of the fittest.
Yeah.
But then when it like kind of settled, when we realized like New York wasn't going to not have grocery stores and things like that, I think the first 2 weeks were oddly, and I say this with like so much realization.
Yeah.
But then when it like
it's you. Sorry, I'm trying to share it on Facebook. Sorry, I can't double task.
That's okay.
Oh my God.
I hope it's not on my end. It was oddly calm for me. I think my life was in a weird position where I actually like felt like I was on this like hamster wheel that I desperately needed to like get thrown off of. Obviously I would rather be on the hamster wheel than have what's happening in the world right now. But I think the first 2 weeks I was like, I haven't ever just like for a while, which I think every artist or, New York resident can probably relate to, haven't had this like excuse to do nothing and it's okay. Like the world's not going to shame you for like watching Netflix every day for 12 hours. Now it's obviously a little bit different. Now it's just like trying to figure out what normal is. So thankfully, I'm in Astoria with my fiance and our dog, who's on the floor. And we're very lucky that, we feel great in our home and very cozy and safe. So
yeah,
all things considered, we're lucky.
Totally.
Yes.
I know. I forgot to say what I was drinking. I'm just drinking bourbon But it's inspired by Joe Roscoe from Built for the Stage. So it's his like skinny old fashioned, which is just bourbon and lemon juice.
I'm dead.
Skinny.
Okay, so it's bourbon.
It's bourbon with lemon juice.
A twist. It's bourbon with a twist. Joe
Yeah,
Roscoe.
exactly. Not an old fashioned. But in a pinch, it works. You know, I don't have bitters here, so.
Totally. Yeah. I'm also like, what is not skinny about an old fashioned?
There's
Bourbon.
sugar.
It's sugar.
It's the
Sugar and bitters.
Oh, just the bitters? It's like 2 drops.
I don't know. I mean, well, it depends. I like a lot of bitters in my old fashioned.
Would tell us.
I like a lot of bitters. Like
I hear that.
I like 10 dashes. Like I know that's too many, but like I'm like king, 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 king. Yeah.
We like
It's
that
too many.
too.
Just, tell us in the comments how many dashes are supposed to be in an old fashioned. I don't know.
I think for the most part, and I'm no expert, I think most cocktails are like 3.
3. I was gonna say like 3 to 4 probably.
It's always 3 ounces. It's always like 3 little spins. It's always.
I know, but like cocktail proportions don't make sense to me. It's like yeah, right. Like I'm gonna do like a third of the a third alcohol and then like all of this like soda. It's like no, half and half.
Yeah.
Which is why cocktails are typically, Jake and I, my fiance, we were like very anti-cocktails for a long time. It's like restaurants, they charge you like $17 for a cocktail. You like probably won't like it. Like 9 times out of 10, really, have you ever been like, this is the greatest cocktail of my life? Maybe New York's oversaturated, so it's like if you're going to an amazing place, maybe it's cooler or whatever.
Yeah.
But we were like, oh, we're only gonna do like good tequila and good bourbon, and it felt like so fun and whatever. And now we're like so sick of it that we want to like find good cocktails that we like. Yeah. His margarita is crazy pants. That is like,
oh, Burke, tell us about that.
I want a good margarita.
You are warned. We think the show Hot Ones, we're like obsessed with that YouTube show where they like eat the hot wings, and it's
Okay, yeah.
4-man's production to like highly produced. It's so cool. But a WWE wrestler, who was it? Steve Austin randomly during his was like, oh, I have this amazing margarita recipe, and it's literally just all alcohol. So there's no like, moment of quiet with it. So like take a couple hours to drink one. So
Work. Wait, what's in it?
Hi, friend.
Dog. Hi.
Here, he just got a haircut and they cut his beard off.
Oh.
He's very upset.
Yeah, he's super upset about what's in the margarita.
It's 3 ounces of tequila, 1 ounce of lime juice, 1 ounce of triple sec, shaken, poured over rocks, then with a floater of Grand Marnier on top.
Great.
Oh, I love a floater.
Oh, good.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye. Like, we're like, you're done with the drink. Like, you're out.
But it's so good if you like want a margarita that doesn't taste like sugary and like mixed.
I know.
Thing.
Yeah.
Do you like jalapenos in your margaritas?
I'm a spicy person by nature, both personality-wise and cocktail. So I'm always down for a jalapeno. We just started putting jalapenos in tequila and then putting it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Infusing
Steeping it.
Oh my God, it's so fun.
Yeah. Michael Butcher had a great cocktail recipe, which was drinking a bottle of whiskey.
Classic.
That is right. And also he called out my dog, so we got to show that too.
What have you been watching?
Oh my God, my favorite question. I'm obsessed with television, always have been, always will be, and now I'm very into like producing television. So there is nothing I won't watch, but it has to like get me in the first 10 minutes. Ozark is maybe one of the greatest things I've ever seen.
Okay.
And Robin Herder was on when I was running the session, who's your friend, and she was like, "It's like a poor man's Breaking Bad." I'm like, no, it's
you're like biting your tongue, like sipping your drink. You're like, oh.
I was so mad. It feels like a personal attack. I'm so obsessed with Ozark. I watch Little Fires Everywhere. That was
good.
Incredible. I'm so obsessed with Reese Witherspoon's production company, and Kerry Washington's production company. So that is a dynamic duo. We just started The Sopranos.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Throwback.
But now we're watching it. It is like, if you want to see, it is so well written and it's so interesting. So that is a really cool one to watch too.
Sopranos is like classic TV. It's like original
Classic.
HBO, right? Like, was HBO?
Yes, it was like that and 6 Feet Under.
Yeah.
And it's like, interesting. I'm in a screenwriting class, and the writer was like, or the teacher who is a writer was like, you know what's interesting? Not just having a mobster, but having a mobster who has panic attacks. And he was like, there's The Sopranos. And it's like, I didn't realize that would like, but it is. It makes it like so dimensional. And I also love trash TV. So Vanderpump Rules.
Oh my God, the best.
All of them.
Oh my God.
Here to talk about it.
We have been nonstop watching The Housewives and Vanderpump.
What is Vanderpump? I don't know what that
Vanderpump
is.
Rules. Okay, so Vanderpump Rules is
reality TV shows.
It's about Lisa Vanderpump, who was a former housewife of Beverly Hills.
Okay.
She owns many restaurants in Los Angeles, and it's about the staff of her restaurants.
Oh.
Basically, like, I just started it from the beginning because I was watching like such heavy stuff, and finally I was like, I need something mindless while I'm working to like have in the background that will like make me giggle. So I started it from the beginning. It's like watching them over the course of 10 years. So you're watching these like kind of terrible people like work through how they're terrible, and now they're like functioning.
Kind of.
Depends.
They go through stages. You know, it's like I started late, and I used to not like the show. Michael, my boyfriend, he loves the Housewives Vanderpump. He loves everything Bravo, and so like I've gotten on board with some things I'm not interested in. But Vanderpump, I'm like, oh my God, I stand. Like I'm obsessed.
Okay. Must watch.
And
you have to.
And we're also watching the new seasons of Beverly Hills and New York.
The new season of New York. Woof, man.
Thoughts on Leah?
I'm
obsessed with her.
Leah more than we need her now.
I'm obsessed with Leah.
I've never watched Housewives or if anything. So which one should I start with?
New York.
Okay. Third season? Which season? Or just like start from the beginning?
I mean, I think everything, if you have the time and you're willing to, like, you could always get up and walk away, cook some dinner, come back to it.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Jersey. I think Jersey and New York are fun places to start. Beverly Hills, just to see Lisa Vanderpump, I think is like, I don't know. People have their issues. I don't know her personally, but love her.
And what's so interesting is like we're watching we're watching last season of Beverly Hills right now as well, like kind of as like supplements to supplement Vanderpump and the current season. And I'm like, why does everyone hate Lisa Vanderpump? Like, I'm obsessed with her.
I feel the same way. And
I'm Team Lisa in every situation. But anyway, Beverly Hills, I think New York is the best franchise.
Okay.
I've never had anyone. I think when Bethany was gone, it was like, what's the point?
Oh my God, but this season is so good.
Well, yes, but it's only good because Leah joined, and everyone is like, I've never seen grown women get so wasted on television.
It is so crazy. It's amazing. Like, I'm obsessed with it. First of all, she is very much taking the kind of Bethany slot, like dry, great singers. Like, she's hilarious. Everyone, all the girls kind of like are interested in her. Like, she just has that it factor.
Totally.
But I'm obsessed with her. She got blackout wasted this week.
She calls herself Hurricane Leah, and I love it. And she will post on Instagram before she basically the episodes are revealed. And it's so like the way that she talks about herself. I just love that she doesn't take herself too seriously.
No.
What is it? At the end
my favorite quote of hers this week was like, I mean, from hanging out with these women, I thought that like having 10 martinis and going crazy was just like what we did. Like, is that not our thing?
Ramona on Instagram, she's like, Ramona's acting like she's holier than thou. She's like for the woman who defecated herself, like on a bed.
And Sonia, who is like constantly a mess every episode. Like,
I almost feel like I know Sonia and I don't, but there's like something. When every time I'm just like, and how often, shout out BPN, how much do you die when you see Ben?
Yeah. So Ben Rimmelauer is Countess Luann's music director. And so he's constantly on the show. And like he got a shout out they used one of his like one-liners in the preview for next week. Like he's like a character.
It is crazy. He's been on 2 episodes so far of this season. That's in Tim. I was like, I just love seeing you on the Housewives.
Big fan. Big fan.
Housewives all day, but I know you have other things you'd like to discuss.
Oh my God, it's so good. Wait, Caleb, what have you been watching?
So I don't know the name of it, and I've only watched like 2 episodes, but I'm obsessed. Is this flower designing show in Great Britain?
Wow.
Okay.
It's on Netflix, and it's just like a whole bunch of random teams, and they have to build like big structures with flower design. So it's kind of interesting, and because Cole started it, so I didn't catch the name of it, and we watched like 2 back-to-back, and that's all that I have this week on what I'm watching.
Flowers, I love that.
Yeah, weren't you guys also the people who are watching Making the Cut on Amazon Prime?
Oh yeah.
Yes, loved it.
Project Runway fan. I'm having a tough time with Making the Cut. I really want to get into it.
Really? Okay.
There's something about the sequence that like isn't flowing for me. Like I can't figure out. I don't know. It's like something is just shy of landing for me.
I felt that way about the Netflix show with
Making the Cut or the Next in Fashion.
No.
I loved both.
Yeah.
Making the Cut for me, I like it. We're actually rewatching an old season of Project Runway that I've never seen. We have 1 episode left. It's Mondo's season, and I'm like obsessed. We started it and we were like, this season is terrible. We cannot get through it. Like the first 2 episodes were so bad. And then it like has turned out to be like maybe the best season ever. Like it's there's so much like drama and like good characters that you like. It's such great characters. Like you hate people, you like there's underdogs, there's like front run, and it's really good season.
The thing about Making the Cut is everyone already is established, so they aren't there for drama. They're like, we want is it $1 million? Like they want the $1 million to win. So the quality is higher, so it's less trash.
Yeah. The broad who does the like athletic
G1.
Yes. Oh my God, so obsessed. And she's
obsessed with her.
Designed for all these famous female pop artists and male, but I also like the new Project Runway with Christian Siriano as the mentor. I mean, come on.
We watched this season. It was good.
Oh, I loved it. I just wanted to know your thoughts.
Yeah, I know. We love it. But I will say, like, after watching Making the Cut and like watching Project Runway, I'm like, I really do appreciate that Making the Cut is actually a design competition, and it's not like I can't get this hem done. You know what I mean? Like
getting the hem done.
Like I like giving them like the space to like do well.
Yes.
It's not like it annoys me every time when they're like, he needs to go because his sewing skills are not up to par. I'm like, that's not the competition.
Yeah,
that's fair.
I want
to find America's next best seamstress.
Yeah. I think what I don't like though is that obviously Making the Cut is like much more realistic of like what it's like to be a designer, but send their stuff off to the seamstress as like part of their process, which is how of course that goes. But there's something about watching on Project Runway, them like, sewing their things into.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's something like, ooh, I want to see every part of the process, and I miss the process.
Yeah, it definitely makes for better drama.
Yes.
Yeah, but I like the new seasons of Project Runway because I don't feel like there's a ton of drama.
I liked this season. I liked this new Project Runway with Carly, not Carly Kushner, but Carly Kushner.
Like the designer on stage said something about.
Oh my God, that was wild.
Her brother-in-law being Jared Kushner.
She was like,
we're not going to go there. She was like,
that was wild.
That's crazy.
But I like it. I like Project Runway. There's some Heidi and Tim are so magic though. It's like
they're like soulmates.
They just have their dynamic is so special.
Sometimes I think it's awkward, or is it just supposed to be awkward? I don't know. Like I'm not obsessed with them as much as you are.
Interesting peeps.
Yeah. I think they would be fun people to hang out with, but like. To go shopping with Heidi would be super fun.
I was devastated when Heidi Klum and Seal broke up. Devastated.
Oh yeah.
Heidi Klum. We're also rewatching Sex and the City, and we were watching the episode where like Carrie walks in the fashion show and she like is like, I'm not a model. Hot take on Sex and the City. I can't stand Carrie. I hate her.
I actually have never seen the series all the way through.
She's by far my least favorite of the girls. Miranda. I feel like I am Miranda, and I'm a hybrid Miranda Samantha.
I'm always Miranda in every friend group that like decide. I end up being Miranda. I'm like, all right, I'll take it. I love.
Who am I? I don't know which one I am. You got
Caleb. You're Charlotte.
Okay, I think.
I love Charlotte.
She's the slutty one, right?
No,
Charlotte's the wife, the brunette.
Yeah.
Oh, damn it!
I love Charlotte. Charlotte's underrated. I think. I love her.
Love her as well. Oh my god, you guys are! I love all our podcasters' comments.
Yeah, throw that up there. Broadwayston.
BPN into house.
You're too good to me. You're so sweet. Who is
Literally, I don't know how you do it all, Brittany. Like, can we get into that? Like, all the facets and hats that you wear. Like,
Jack of all trades.
Yes. Let's jump into it.
No. Thanks for saying that. I think everyone does the same extent of work in different capacities in their life and career. I think right now, I'm surprised in a pleasant way of like how much I've been able to contribute to the network and what it grew into. The short version of it is basically I knew kind of end of last year that I didn't really want to perform anymore. And I had finished up my summer gigs, which all things considered should have been like the biggest dreams come true of like the cast and the shows and the things. And 21-year-old Brittany would have been like salivating at the mouth. And it was an incredible experience, but it didn't kind of fill the empty hole in my heart of like purpose and whatever.
Yeah.
And so it's crazy how like I had started my podcast in April of last year, just as this like having something to say and wanting to hear women talk about their stories. And I didn't even start just having women because I was too scared to like, keep it in this like small niche group and people will easily tell you that like, oh, well, you made your market really small. I was like, interesting.
Your market's very small.
It's like
half population. Like what?
Like, oh, thank you. Yes, it's making the market smaller by just having women. I'm like, that's a interesting point. And no women were telling me that, just so we're abundantly clear. Just pointing it out. So
I think people could have gathered that.
I'll spoon feed this to you, but just to make it clear.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started my podcast. I went away for the summer, and when I got back, I was like, looking at BPN, I was like, this kind of feels like a crazy. It happened in September, probably around all of us the same time of like the fall of last year.
Mm-hmm.
And as I started getting further into it, and I started to know Dory Berenstein, who is our CEO of the company, an extraordinary woman, female powerhouse, Broadway producer, all the things, I was like, I'd be crazy not to ask this woman if there's any chance of me learning from her in some capacity. So it's crazy how it did not go in the way I think that like we originally sat down for it to be, because we didn't know what it was going to be, and obviously didn't know that a pandemic was in the works. So alas, it's crazy how it all like totally changed. So now it's just been like refining what the job is and learning a lot. And what I really love is getting to collaborate with the other podcasts. And I prefer, what I don't love about my podcast is being on my own. I don't love just hosting it by myself, and I don't love being like the one woman show of it. So getting to like talk to other people about like making their podcast better and like building it and that stuff, I'm like, oh, that collaboration is like really, really awesome. So yeah, it's been a crazy freaking progression of it that I would have a year and a half ago, if you would have told me this, I wouldn't have believed you. But
well, it's just like jumping in the deep end and kind of figuring things out. I mean, that's one of the ways to make things happen in your life is to just kind of like go for it.
So try it. And I think from my perspective, the most difficult part about being a performer in general is that you feel like it's like this ticking clock of like, well, you only have so much time to do it. Yeah. And then you're never like quite sure how close you are to it anyway, if the goal is Broadway and it doesn't be. But if it is, like, you're always kind of telling yourself you're really close to it, whether it's like a new show or your first show or anything. So you can like keep going down that road over and over again. And all of a sudden 3 years of your life has passed and you're like, was it worth it? Maybe it was. And if it is, if like the experience of getting those opportunities, no matter how short or long they are, if that's worth it, then great. But I wonder how many people would still be performing if they took a step away and said, oh, I'm curious about something else, knowing that performing is always going to be there.
Right.
And my ego at the time was like, am I really, this is like the thing I always said, like, I would die before I would give up on the Broadway dream. Is it really the thing to walk away from? And then I was like, what an odd thing. But it's because we give so much to the industry and we always, we're so close all the time.
Yes. And it's impossible to like actually measure where you are. And I think that, there's a lot of pressure, especially when we're growing up, on how difficult it is to make a career, and we still like try to pursue. It's like so hard to like turn those voices off, that are saying like backup plan, or that like if things don't go exactly as you envision, that you failed. It's just a hard thing that's like programmed into us.
I think also we're introduced to theater and the stage from the beginning. Like that's what we see. And we aren't educated in the beginning about producers and stage managers and everything else in the background. So we don't even know all of these amazing opportunities that are behind.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Yeah.
And it's something so interesting too, of like, you don't totally know all the different careers that exist within the field.
Yeah.
And you see the thing on stage, you see just the people who are in front of you. Talent that is like sort of insinuative that maybe you can do it. You're thinking of the people that you see in front of you.
Right.
It's such a crazy life, and it's such a crazy industry, and it's so beautiful and it's so wonderful and it's so essential to the world in so many ways. If I was like if I could have told myself something at 18, it probably would have been like, you can absolutely pursue that, but you can also really benefit. Like, if I would tell every kid in the world to get a double major. If the pandemic taught anybody anything, it's not that it's one or the other. It's just literally, this is such a specialized field that you owe it to yourself to not have a backup plan, but to know that you're capable of loving and doing something else. And that's a really hard thing, because we think it has to be like, I always get really offended when people say, when they ask like successful people, what advice do you have to like people who are trying to be in the industry? And they're like, just work hard. Like, what an awful piece of advice. Everybody's working hard.
Right.
It's not a matter of working hard. It's the right show being written, knowing the right person, all these different things. And once that clicked into my brain of like, oh, you can keep working hard, but do you want to, or do you want to put that hard work into something else? It's like, it just all of a sudden, if you take off the rose-colored glasses of the industry, do you still want to be in the capacity that you're in? Great. If you do, you have more clarity than ever.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many people I've spoken to during this time who are like, I may try to go get my master's in something, or I may try to go do this, because all of a sudden it's like, okay, well, if the industry is like paused for a second, you don't feel like your whole identity is in one thing, but it's every job too at the same time. I mean, whether you're in business or something else, if your industry closes, then what are you going to do? It's still tricky, but it's been, I think, empowering in a lot of ways to allow myself to say that my dream has changed, and it isn't from a lack of wanting it for a long time, for 10 years of my life plus, But yeah, so that's been a really, really cool transition that's taken a lot of time.
A lot of time and work.
Yes. But you guys
Brittany works. We see her, okay? All don't see all the behind the scenes Broadway Podcast Network stuff, but we're constantly, I say we're constantly. Caleb and I go to a meeting once a week. We like go to a happy hour here and there,
and we have a cocktail hand every time.
But there is a big team of people making all this stuff happen. So we are very grateful, and we've loved you from the start. So we're happy that we get to like email you and
so appreciative.
Just to praise you a little bit more, like I remember the first happy hour we met you back in the fall. You bring out this light, and people are attracted to you. So like, if you haven't met Brittany, you really you need to meet her because like you attract people to you because of your light and your positivity and your productiveness. It's just that's what when we saw you at the happy hour, we're like, we want to talk to her. So you were one of the first people we thought of.
Thank you so much for saying that. That's so kind. And that means so much to me. I don't know if I like wake up every day going, I'm not this person who like is focused on positivity. There's so many people in the world who are like, I'm just a really positive
person.
Yeah. It's so great and so awesome. And I'm not that. And I feel like sometimes, when I think of people who are what you just described, I would think of those people. So to know that I still can like give off that energy and, be who I am. I mean,
it's a genuine balance. Like I can see, like, I'd rather come and talk to you because I can talk about the hard times and the good times and we can still be productive with it. That's what I love about it. Like, we're not just like.
Yeah, I think those like people, especially in this industry, to find the people that like you can talk about the tricky stuff and like the questions and pose challenges and all those things. I mean, I feel equally as appreciative. So I'm glad you guys came up to me at the bar.
Hey.
I think we were honestly setting up the bar. Because, Caleb and I get to a party and the alcohol isn't out. We're like, what can we do? Yeah. How can we help?
We're going to point again down at the screen, guys. So important that we are donating to these amazing causes that are helping during this crazy time.
And while that is scrolling, Brittany, you know the drill. You know how we quote unquote start every interview. I mean, 40 minutes in.
I don't remember.
So we start by asking our guests what first got them interested in the arts when they were a young person.
So my mom, I think my mom's watching, so she probably can tell a different version of this story. My first memory of being obsessed, I don't have a great long-term memory, so this is why I preface it. Jake's laughing. I just remember being a very young girl who was very bossy and wanted to like build a production, and I was obsessed with cats. Like, I can't even tell you. And I used to miss basically like every Monday at school, Monday blues, anxiety, whatever it was. I just didn't want to go to school on a Monday. And I have a very nurturing mother who allowed me to not go to school. And I basically would lay in bed and I would watch the Cats movie. And I remember I would have like my cousin would come into town or my best childhood friend would come over, and it was like I was choreographing Cats on them and I was the lead of everything. It was like your background and I'm like forefront of it. Cats and you're one, and I was like charging people to come to my little show. I just remember asking for like $0.25 or something. And then I have a very clear memory of doing The Wiz. Not okay. Not okay. So okay. I truly which is part, of what we hope to change about the way that we teach theater, we educate students about the way we should be telling certain stories. I truly thought The Wiz was just The Wizard of Oz.
Right.
Like growing up, I was a lollipop girl. I was like in No Bad News, and I was like a hurricane something. And I just remember being so obsessed with the older girls that I was watching. And I was like, I mean, it was like done and done. And I definitely stopped dancing for a long time because dance is just like a really insane industry.
Yeah.
And I think dancers are getting better about talking about it, but you just like, depending on where you're from, the accessibility of like not ballet and modern is really tricky. So oh my God, I just felt like so, I guess, useless because I wasn't a ballet dancer and I wasn't built like that. So then it was like musical theater all the way. Then it was like the full switch of like, oh, cabaret, like you don't have to have good turnout for that. Like,
Didn't know.
yeah, I was like, ooh, right there. And like to feel as a woman, as a young woman, to like find these shows that like kind of empowered this, like, you know, you're so like awkward. You're like growing into your body, and the shows demand that you like, that you know your body and all these things.
Yeah.
You don't have to hide your yawn. I see you.
No, I didn't hide it.
I saw the classic.
That's just me always. I'm constantly yawning.
I was like, just let it out.
I just have a really like raised soft palate. If we weren't on camera, I would like fully like, but they're also contagious.
They are.
Even through Zoom. So I'm trying to take care of you all.
I greatly appreciate that. But yeah, that's basically, I think I also am very stubborn. And like, once I decided that I was going to pursue theater, I think it was at all costs. And I think I was later to the game when it came to like, I sang as a kid. I was in an improv troupe. I did plays and like dance, but it was never really all together.
Right.
So once it became something that like was a challenge and that other people were so much better at than me, it just gave me more will to want to like do it, which is probably a good and a bad thing. Like maybe I could have just, I think everyone knew maybe the business side of the industry was much more for me even at an earlier age. I think they still knew I could find success as a performer, but that I would maybe be happier and I would be even more successful on the business side because I was so fascinated with the creation of everything. I wanted to know every artistic director. I wanted to have meetings. I wanted to like know how they were doing what they were doing. And my dad is that way too. So I have the balance of, you know, this businessman who's like, has taught me so much about perseverance and like will and like chasing things. And then like my mom is so creative and like nurturing all these things. So the combination, like it makes sense that it was art, but maybe more biz side.
Well, so wait, when did you start like having that interest in artistic directors and like seeking that out? Was it young?
I think it was always young, and I don't know if it was necessarily, I don't know if I've been able to like pinpoint it until now.
Right.
I always was very close to the owners of the studio or like those things where I think it was the obsession with these like, and they were all mostly women. So cool to see these people owning these studios. And I think I liked the power. I think there was something about seeing these people telling everyone their vision. And I said something last summer, I did a chorus line at Cape Playhouse. And it was crazy because a tornado hit the Cape for the first time in like 60 years or something.
Oh, wow.
So we had a techless tech. We had no power, which is literally my, like, I mean, I'm obsessed. Like, give me like a crisis. And I'm like, oh my God, what do we have to do? Like, we can save the day. And I remember talking to my friend who played Paul. And I was like, oh my God, were you just watching Joyce Chittick directed it? Were you just watching her run around the theater and like tell the audio, because obviously lighting and audio for chorus line is like more important probably than any show. And it's difficult to nail down in a short process. I was like, were you just watching her run around the whole theater, like try to fix everything? And he was like, what? No, I wasn't. He's like, I'm thinking about obviously his very difficult role. And
you're like, oh.
And I'm like, oh. And so then I kind of thought maybe it was choreography or maybe it was directing or something like that. But that even kind of felt force fit. I was like, oh, maybe it's not so much like, I think obviously a lot of the artistic directors growing up were also the directors and they're playing a lot of different roles because they're small businesses and, you know, all different things. But as I started to get like sift through all the different roles that existed within that, I think it takes a little bit of time to be like, oh, what's my skill set beyond like the singing, dancing, acting on stage, and how does that like translate into a business?
Right.
So once I started kind of talking to different people in all those different roles, that was kind of helpful. But I do think it was like an obsession with people in power that could like decide the shows, could like guide people.
Sure.
Dance captain. I always wanted to do those things because I like the collaboration. As like an ensemble gal, it feels very not collaborative from my experiences. So
yes.
like have these conversations about like the risks of shows. You have to save money in this capacity. How are you going to do it?
Right.
And also like getting to talk with your peers and to talk to like tech people and to talk all these people from all different backgrounds, like that, all of a sudden I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what I find interesting. It's so funny you mentioned that. I'm the exact same way of like in tech, if I'm not on stage, like I'm not hanging out in the dressing room, I am sitting in the house watching the director, like sitting just observing every little, and you see so many people talk and you learn so much about how to talk to people and what kind of approaches get the best result, and it's just so fascinating to me to watch all that stuff. And so you're not alone in that. Like I think it's so fun, and I didn't even think about it until we were teching Beetlejuice, and I was like just sitting watching, and I was like, oh wow, I always sit out here. I'm like, what is that? Like I'm just like thinking about like why am I always sitting out in the house?
I love it though, and I do think there was some sort of realization, which is like kind of what you don't obviously. You guys know, but when you're like first starting out in the business, you probably have never done 8 shows a week, whether it's regionally, tour, Broadway, whatever it is. That life isn't really for everybody.
No.
And it's not
it's barely for the people it's for.
Exactly. It's gonna be like a luxury, and it's not. Most people don't enjoy it, and it's really hard, but you do it because obviously it's one of the there's a sacrifice to every job in the world.
Right. There are good parts and bad parts of it.
Totally. And I think there was this like realization, I love tech. And I don't know if I necessarily at this point in time, I think Broadway producing is something I'm very interested in the long run. I think being very selective about the things that I find to be, that are of interest for me to kind of put that money into and not know if it's ever going to come back will happen. But I think for me, it's much more like, TV, film, all the different capacities of producing. Yeah. The building, the developmental part, now I have the clarity of like, that was much more of what I loved as opposed to the sustaining.
Sure.
The 8 shows a week. That's a skill set, and it's extraordinary.
Yeah.
And that's why there's all these different roles to kind of play around. My son is coming out over here.
Oh my god!
Hey, son!
Son, come on! You have a really nice golden like.
I'm starting to sweat.
I have like basement ring lighting.
I have green.
Long face.
No, I completely agree. Like I learn more and more that like there's like those jokes about like the Ripley Greer like sweatshirts and like New 42 Studios like sells merchandise, and I'm like LOL. But they all say like rehearsal is the best part, and I'm kind of like it kind of is.
It is fun.
I like rehearsal from the creative's perspective. From the dance perspective, rehearsal I think is a nightmare.
I mean it's also the most difficult part.
Yeah.
You're just like, what did I do 30 seconds ago? And then it's like trying to
constant breakdowns.
So like, forget about it. We're learning something new.
Like whatever you did yesterday that you just spent 12 hours overnight, which I love. I love it, and they have every right to do that. But
yes.
I'm like constantly like crying on lunch break.
How did
Shin splints.
Like going from having like the best morning, I'll come in and have the best morning, and then one thing will happen and I'll be like, I'm quitting. And then I'll have like Sticky's chicken fingers to like
Stickies
make myself feel better, and then I'll go back and it'll be fine. But like I love the ups and downs.
Oh, totally. Yeah. That's my autobiography right there. That's
we love it. We love a strong female lead.
We do.
Don't we, Caleb?
We do. Are we leading right into it?
I think so. Let's do it.
So I'm so excited for this game. It is called Broadway Battle. And I thought because we have you from a Broadway, we had to do strong female leads. So this is Broadway Battle COVID edition. So can you throw up that bracket?
Yes.
The first bracket.
I would love
Go on, Elliot.
ahead.
Okay. So this is a breakdown of, we have all these musical theater characters, and we're going to break down which one we think would thrive most in COVID quarantine. Does that make sense?
I understand the rules.
And so we incorporate song, location, character choice, and all those things. We're not looking at the actress. We're just looking at the character.
Yeah.
So
All right.
it's so.
All right. Let's look at our faces while we discuss round one.
Okay. So
now, Brittany and I have told Caleb our choices, but
like 1 a.m. last night.
Brittany sent hers, and I was like, shit.
I feel bad that it was so late. I was like, oh my god, yesterday just like
long.
But
So
I was happy Elliot was awake.
I know. Yeah, I'm always awake.
I was asleep.
We have our choices, but the final decision is Caleb's to make.
And I know we could talk about this for hours because I had people giving me theses on people.
Love.
Oh my
We
god.
loved the engagement on social media.
Loved it.
Fun.
But we're gonna go quick. Anything, Brittany?
What?
No. Okay. We'll go on.
I'm pulling up the photo for myself. I want to remember who
I know. I have mine too.
I have mine too. Okay. So Eliza versus Millie. Eliza Hamilton versus Millie Delmount. Eliza, she is good at writing letters. She's isolated from her husband a lot of the time. Millie survived the Spanish flu of 1918. She is living in New York. She's a go-getter. She's out in town a lot, though. My thoughts, I would move Millie forward.
I moved Millie forward as well.
Who did I even say?
You said Eliza, I think.
And I said it was very difficult for me because Sutton Foster is the reason I ever thought I would do musical theater or could do it. I was like, ooh, obsessed. So not picking her was very difficult. However,
but it's Millie, not Sutton.
Exactly. You told me I can't, I said. So I still stand by Eliza, but fine, I don't get the final vote, so it doesn't matter.
I said Millie just because, she's a pioneer woman, pal.
Yes.
All right.
You're right.
Okay. Speaking of pioneers, we have Annie Oakley versus Daisy and Violet. Both of them are in traveling shows around the country. I think Annie lives off the land. She has her father has a lot of alcohol, maybe moonshine. So it's like alcoholic, it can kind of kill the virus.
Something else.
I think Daisy and Violet, would drive themselves a little bit crazy, even though they're used to being in isolation.
Totally.
Completely agree.
So that's why I'm moving Annie forward.
Yes.
I agree.
I think quarantine is a time where
love.
You want to have the solo option. You know, you want to have the ability to put your headphones in and do your workout, or have that alone time.
Sorry, I'm looking at who I picked. I can't believe I picked Daisy and Violet.
You did?
I'm gonna just blame that on exhaustion.
Ah.
But it's not 2 against 1.
Yeah, it could be better.
Sure, that's fair.
Moving onward, Francesca versus Lori. Francesca is from Italy, so she feels Italy was one of the first hit countries with the high rates.
Oh.
But she also lets a random stranger into her house and has sexual relations with him. That is COVID no.
Yeah.
Counterpoint.
Okay, please.
She's really unhappy with her life until she's isolated from her family. And then she suddenly blossoms. So
I am obsessed. Not that we're talking about shows and actual people. However, I will. I am so obsessed with Bridges of Madison County.
It's so good.
We all are, yes.
It was truly that show not having lucrative success made me not believe in theater. I was like, this is ridiculous because this show is so extraordinary.
Yes.
I tried to second act the last show, and there weren't any seats for me to sneak into.
Boo.
So,
I do love Francesca, but
I'm obsessed with Francesca too. But just because of that one moment of letting strangers into your home, it has to go to Lori. I'm afraid so.
yes.
I think Lori might. I thought Lori might go a little rogue with the smelling salts.
Oh, maybe.
You know what though? We all get a vice while in quarantine. She gets smelling.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yes.
I guess
She wants them, she can have them.
She's just so indecisive, though. I feel
She
like
is.
she wouldn't be like she would like try to plan for the day, and she would like spiral.
And
Anyway.
Francesca is a great cook.
Yeah,
She could cook for us.
farm.
I'm sure Lori can cook too. Long story short, I'm sticking with my guns with Lori. Lori is moving onward.
That's perfect.
Fine.
Next is to Anita and Mrs. Lovett.
It's
I
not
know,
a competition.
I know, but I will say, okay, Anita is in New York. I'm sure she's a strong New Yorker woman. She works at a dress shop, so she's making fierce masks.
Mm-hmm.
I don't trust Bernardo, and I know she loves to sleep with Bernardo, so I don't trust him because he's out in the streets.
He's totally out and about.
He's out and about.
Yeah.
Mrs. Lovett, she is a businesswoman. She has her patio garden. So
The
she's
patio.
The patio garden is it.
Huge.
She said, don't you love the garden? Because everyone is 6 feet away from each other and I'm still feeding them.
Huge.
And she's not offering food, but she's also offering haircuts to people.
Yeah.
Upstairs.
She's gonna really survive once phase 2 hits. She's gonna really, really be ready to go.
Guys, this is so good. I'm so Caleb.
I chose
moving
Mrs. Lovett.
I chose Mrs. Lovett too.
I did as well.
Yeah.
We're moving her forward because I'm gonna have to defend her later, so we're keeping her on.
All right.
Next word we have Dolly Levi and Elle Woods. I'm saying Elle Woods. She's gonna make laws. She's gonna make masks. Dolly has her hand in everything. So she's not. I don't know if she's washing her hands after having it in it. So
Nice.
Elle Woods moving
That's
on.
really good. I chose Elle first of all because Elle is my dream role and one of my icons. She, like you said, she's socially conscious.
Yes.
She's going to be fighting for justice. She's going to be working to find a cure. She's really going to go there, and she's a positive person, and we need that. We need those people to lead us through. Dolly, she couldn't stay away from a restaurant.
Yes. She's not going to do well.
No.
Billie Holiday versus Celie. Billie, she's drinking a lot of alcohol, so she's keeping she's keeping the virus away. But Celie is just like strongest woman ever alive.
Fighter.
Any competition, which I stand by.
Yeah,
She
Celie.
The lung capacity versus songs is like she's gonna last COVID.
Celie is here.
Yes.
Celie is here.
We stand with Celie.
Yeah.
Okay, The Witch versus Elphaba. People were fighting me about pairing them together so quickly, but we have to decide which witch is better.
Yeah.
I'm going with Elphaba. She's known for isolation. She can fly. She has magic. And so I know she doesn't have a garden, but she doesn't depend on other people to get her items.
Yeah. I went with the witch. I like her no nonsense kind of thing. Like she would be the person that would be like, y'all are not wearing masks. What is going on? You know what I mean? And we are in Act 2 of Into the Woods right now, so I just feel like the witch would survive.
Genius, guys. Just genius.
Who did you choose?
I think I picked Elphaba.
Yeah.
So, I have a tough time separating the nostalgia part of it. So
this is hard.
It's hard.
I think I stand by a lot of my picks. However, I think you put photos up and I'm gonna go with what the heart says. Yeah. It's not always right. But I pick Elphaba.
We gotta follow the heart.
Okay.
That's all we have.
Yeah.
Last one in top 8, it's Mama Rose versus Rose Alvarez.
This was one of the easiest for me.
This was hard for me.
Why?
Because Rose left in New York to go to Sweet Apple, Ohio. She's protecting herself and she stands up for herself.
But she has her entire thing is that she wants her husband to be a teacher. Like she just can't get over it. It's like she wouldn't be able to move past things.
I'm afraid
there's a war. Birdie just came back from serving. Like, let him live. Let him do his little contest.
Ugh.
Okay, I understand that. But so I understand Mama Rose was stronger anyway. I think she would fight for her child. She supports Chinese restaurants, Chinese food. She loves Chinese food. She would get people in the seats. She would figure out how to get people into the theater safely.
She would be like, Jansen, everyone's going to hire her to figure out what's happening next. That is so funny.
Have another egg roll, Mr. Goldstone.
That is brilliant, Kayla.
So flash our top 8, please.
All right, we have our top 8.
Yes,
that was a tough first round.
It was.
So Millie, Annie Oakley, Francesca Johnson, Mrs. Lovett.
We have Lori Williams.
Oh, sorry. Lori Williams, Mrs. Lovett, Elle Wood, Celie, Elphaba, Mama Rose.
Okay.
Moving on. I think Millie just doesn't have skills compared to Annie. Annie has she grows her garden. She has a gun so she can kill animals and kill crazy people if it comes down to that.
If you had to. I don't support that, but desperate times.
Yeah, I'm anti-gun, so I went with Millie. Also, she in hard times or good time, you know what I mean? She was ready for a green glass love, honey. She was gonna go there, and it turned out to be emeralds. All right, okay.
Sure.
I would not. I love Millie. I would not want to be quarantined with her.
She's so hopeful. I need you to be a little bit on it. I need you to be honest and look at the problems ahead of you and be like, no, let's figure it out.
Yeah, she'd be
MT.
Yeah, yes. She'd be making a lot of content.
Yes.
So
that's why we're moving Annie forward.
She did TikTok stuff.
I think Mrs. Lovett. Lori doesn't stand a chance against Mrs. Lovett because we decided Lori can't make up her mind.
Lori barely beat Francesca in my
barely.
Mind. So
Mrs. Lovett.
Mrs. Lovett is the clear choice here.
All right.
She's a bad bitch.
Yes, she is. Elphaba versus Mama Rose. She has magic, so obviously Elphaba beats Mama Rose.
Yeah. Also, I would not want to be quarantined with Mama Rose.
Yes. No.
Elphaba, we could have some chats.
Yes.
I'm trying to remember who I chose.
I'm looking at my text.
I chose Rose, but Rose was against the witch for me. I chose Rose just because I trust that she's going to make things happen. She's going to get to the grocery store. Yes. She's going to make sure she's going to get her Instacart order. Okay. Hell or high water.
I'm going to get it or die trying.
Yeah. Exactly.
And she's going to die because she's not
$58.
So man. I move Elphaba forward. Edwards,
she is Herbie.
An old man with gallbladders,
he's always providing.
He's sick. He leaves her. He's gonna leave her.
Not if she has her way. She's gonna lock him in the house.
She did have a way, and she lost her.
Anyway, we can talk about this for hours.
Exactly. This was hard. Celie versus Elle Woods, both very strong women. That's why I loved both of those characters. I just think Celie, they both have fashion. Celie lives into an old age, and she's a strong woman throughout her whole life. That's why I stuck with Celie.
Oh, wait, though.
I chose Elle Woods to no one's surprise.
Oh, I was looking at yours, Elliot. No. We agreed, Caleb.
Yeah.
He did not agree, Elliot.
I chose Elle Woods. Yeah. Here's my thing. We don't know how old Elle Woods lives because we have that story yet to be told. Legally Blonde 3 is coming. So yes. I have hope for
4 years later.
Legally Blonde 4, 5, 6, 7.
As I previously mentioned, love Reese Witherspoon. I know we're not personalizing it, just putting it out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't F with Celie. I'm like, girl, you stay.
Yeah. So flash our top 4, Brittany.
Ooh, gladly.
Okay, controversial, but I'm Caleb's choice.
Here we are.
I only have one of these people in my top 4.
Caleb's choice.
Yeah, I know. It comes down to me. That's why I like the power. Remember, we like the power, right, Brett? Okay, let's debate these last 4 really quickly.
All right.
Annie versus Mrs. Lovett. I don't think Annie believes in COVID. I think Annie is a Western girl who doesn't believe the virus is real. So I think she she would accidentally catch it.
That is so fair.
That's really fair. And Lovett, she ain't leaving her basement.
No.
Okay?
No.
She's not leaving that house.
Yes.
Yeah.
She said times is hard, and I know it. And so she sees it, acknowledges it, and moves forward. That's why we move Mrs. Lovett forward.
Yeah, she'll just send Toby out to do her stuff, you know?
Poor Toby.
Exactly. He's young. He'll be fun.
Yeah.
Elphaba versus Sealy. This was super hard for me to decide.
Yeah.
Let's see. I didn't do this choice. So I think in Elphaba versus Sealy.
Oh, yeah, you didn't. Right.
I just think that, I know you keep bringing up magic, but I think that Sealy is the stronger woman. Elphaba took a lot of time, and she kind of had a lot of moments. You know what I mean? Where I think Sealy, had dealt with a lot more hardship.
Yes. So I think. Okay, so you've kind of changed my mind. So I think Sealy. I think Sealy should move forward then.
Okay. Wow. All right.
So I was gonna say Elphaba, but now it's Sealy. You've changed my mind.
God.
Making the cut.
The conversation can change everything. So what does that mean? Let's get graphic.
My top two was Sealy and Mrs. Lovett. However,
and so
okay. Wow.
So now we have to talk about Mrs. Lovett and Sealy.
Conversation.
She said, I'm going back to God, that's good. She could up her prices, but she's a little leery about that because she wants to serve people. She's a businesswoman. And I know Sealy is a businesswoman as well, but I don't know. And she has Toby. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Britt, what do you think?
Lovett is a sociopath. I think she'd be great.
You think Mrs. Lovett?
I think she's like, I am going to make everything happen for you. Like, if I was here at Mrs. Lovett, I'd be like, she will make it happen. I could just sit back. She'll she won't pay attention to things that don't concern her, which I'm not saying is a good thing. However, in a moment of crisis quarantine, Mrs. Lovett would be like, go hide in the closet. I got this.
Yeah.
And she would make me dinner.
Yeah. I think personally, I think Sealy should take it. I'm going to play devil's advocate here, but I think that, her journey in the color purple is just like the Broadway Battle bracket. She overcame so much to get to the top, to make her life better.
Yes.
And she's just at her core a good person. And that's who I want to see survive in COVID, is just someone good.
It's not about seeing them. It's about that they would survive.
Or thrive.
Silence. I've made my decision.
Would you like to see it or would you like to say it?
Let's do it at the same time. My decision. Britt, please flash it.
3,
1, 2, 1. Go. Mrs. Lovett.
Oh my gosh.
She said, desperate times call for desperate measures. And I think Mrs. Lovett's going to lead us there. And for winning, I'm going to give her a new industrial meat grinder, as well as an all-paid trip for 2 to a cozy little treat by the sea.
I love it. Yay! Congratulations to Mrs. Lovett.
It's cheers to her.
Cheers
to Mrs. Lovett.
Cheers to Mrs. Lovett. I
provide anything.
Yes.
Anything.
I love this. And I hope you all do too. We loved seeing your responses on social media. So let us know if these brackets are something you're interested in, and we'll keep doing them.
Yes.
I love seeing what Caleb's crazy mind comes up with.
Good, Caleb.
So silly.
So
there will be more.
Britt, how are we on time?
I mean, what do you want
do you have somewhere to be?
I do have a 5:30 session, so I have 10 minutes.
Great. Let's do questions or game and then wrap it up.
Yes, that's perfect.
No game.
Sorry, no.
I have Merch Madness.
Let's do Merch Madness.
Roll the bid.
I know. I'm like cracking the whip on Caleb. I'm like, do the entire bracket. And where's the game? And.
He's like, give me a break.
I said, what? Do March Madness. Let's do March Madness. Let's go. Let's go.
Everyone who listens and watches knows that we do a lot of prep work.
Yes.
You guys are amazed. Well,
I am running out of show shirts because I packed for a short amount of time, and it's been a longer amount of time.
yeah.
But I will be back with all of my merch next week. But I'm gonna do another mask Merch Madness because I got more masks. So we're going. It's hot here. It's very hot in Connecticut. It's like 80 degrees.
It's summer
and sunny. That's what I'm not looking forward to about getting to New York is like the AC. Like
you have yours, Britt. I see it. You're COVID ready.
This one we haven't turned on. We have our bedroom one happening right now because it has an eco thing, but I'm sweating.
It's hot.
I'm also from this, so I can hang, but this is rough.
It's hot.
Yeah.
So I'm going with like my fiery colored masks. All right, so we have this one. So this is an orange mask, and it has some like silver flecks.
That's gorgeous.
So it really gives a nice sheen. It's a good fit, and I love wearing this mask. Number one, I love the flex. It makes it look like it's almost like leather or something. Like it gives a really cool.
Yeah.
I've never seen it on camera before, and like I'm mesmerized by doing this.
It's sexy.
It is. So this is like a good like solid color. You know me, I love a pattern. So it's good for me to break up with some solid colors here and there, like to just give an orange accent. Like I could wear this with my Share Show shirt.
Yes.
It would just look really cute, very fashion. So I really love this mask.
Love.
The second mask I have is this mask, which is like pixels.
Yes.
So I have this mask in a lot of variations because this fabric has a lot of like different sections. This is like a very warm version of this fabric, but it's nice and pixelated.
I'm very impressed.
Again, I could wear this with this shirt because it picks up the pink.
We love Share.
The pink and then the orange. I love this Share Show shirt, by the way.
I loved the shirt.
Have I ever done this for March Madness?
No, I think you need to.
This is fun.
It's a great shirt. Anyway, this mask is really fun. This is really my style, like very like fun, patterny, kind of funky. So it's really fun. You can wear this with a lot of different shirts because you're like, oh, it picks up the one color in the shirt in this square. So this is a tough matchup. And I have to say, I had an idea of who I would choose before I started this segment. But doing this segment, the winner has become so clear to me.
Oh,
and
God,
it's this orange mask.
It's the on camera producing is so different.
Oh my God, this looks so amazing on camera, like with the light, the way it catches. Like I didn't know I looked like this walking down the street. Okay.
But the comments, people love the pixelated masks too. They might both be winners. Like we have Adam.
So well, you know what?
And Donna Gale, the mama.
Oh my God, my mom. Hi, Mom.
No, but I want the orange one too.
So I think that my mom is like, what? I know. It's a shocker.
Drama.
The good news is there are more pixelated masks where this one comes from in different colors. So I think all through June, I'm going to be doing masks in Merch Madness. So because I have a lot of different ones and they're really fun. Maybe we'll do a bracket of the masks.
We love them.
Again,
we love our bracket.
You got them from someone. You may have just said this, but
these masks.
Yeah.
So these masks are from my my uncles own a rental linen company in Fort Lauderdale, and during this time, they're obviously not renting linens for people's parties, so they turned to making masks, and they have really cute. They have really, really cute designs. Hold on, let me give you this. I'll give Britt the website, but they are a great little company, and they sell all these really cute masks. We have like so many patterns. They have different shapes too. They have like the like more. This is more you cover your nose, but they also have like the classic kind of like surgical mask shape. And they're really cute, so check them out.
Cute. I put the website at the bottom.
Small businesses, hey. But yeah, that's what I have for this week. Britt, thank you so much.
Thank you.
This was a blast. I feel like we could like create something out of this where we like have weekly Equity One sessions of just topics that we discuss. We would have way too much fun.
Way too much
fun.
Maybe that's why we can't do
it. They shut us down. Britt, where can people find you and your podcast?
So you can find my podcast on Instagram at a Broadway Podcast, or myself at Brittany M as in Michelle Bigelow on Instagram, and then a Broadway on all the podcast streaming platforms.
Yes. Real quick plug for Caleb and I.
Yes.
So Caleb and I are both participating in a fundraiser for Broadway Cares tonight. That's all people from our alma mater.
Oh, fun.
From OCU. It's called The Stars Align, and it's going to be streaming on the Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS Facebook and YouTube pages. So check that out tonight at 8. I am singing a song, and I got creative with how I filmed it.
I saw bits of it on the promo.
It's in advance. That's so it was filmed in advance. It's not going to be live.
It's like Sondheim. It was like the Sondheim, you know.
You know, we're producing. You know, you're able to like have a hand.
You really are.
Yeah, there's a lot of creative filming. You know, I love Instagram filters. I'll just say that. So tune in at 8:00 Eastern to check that out on the Broadway Cares YouTube and Facebook pages.
Yes.
You can find our podcast at Equity One Podcast on Instagram and Facebook, and at Equity1_ on Twitter.
You can find us and send us an email also at equity1podcast@gmail.com.
Yes. And don't forget to rate and review our podcast and subscribe on iTunes. Give us 5 stars. And while you're there, give a Broadway 5 stars too. You have no idea how big a difference that makes for us. So head on over and rate and review us 5 stars. And also, please feel free to donate. Go to the website below, the Minnesota Freedom Fund, and donate what you can. Make your voice heard. I'm Elliot Maddox on everything. Caleb?
I'm Caleb Dickey at everything. And until next time,
cheers.
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 I'm upgraded to water.